Why the hell so many people are trying to tell me to slow down? Seems like motherfuckers should be shutting the hell up and enjoying the show.
Brittany Mayfield.
Yes.
All right. Daughter of Frankie James Cloman.
Yeah.
53 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And he's out of Monroe, Louisiana. That's where he's originally from.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you were born.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I was floored, like, when your sister called me. And I don't think, out of all the years I've been doing this, I've heard a story as just sickening as what you are saying your father,
Mm-hmm.
Frankie James Cloman, did to you and your 6 sisters.
My other 5 sisters.
5 sisters. Okay. So 2 of you are here today.
Mm-hmm.
You've spoken with the others. They're not quite ready to do what you and your sister are doing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's start with your childhood before you moved to be with your father. Because of course, I'm sure for various reasons, your father and your mother didn't work out. And so you and your sister did explain that you did live with your mother before you eventually moved with your father when you were a teenager. And so how was your childhood coming up with your mother?
Well, it was typical, I suppose. She did have us in church, I would say that.
Every Sunday? Or was it Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday?
Wednesday,
okay,
Friday, Sunday, Saturday. It was like 5 days a week she had us in church. So at that time, we was wearing skirts and dresses every day. Like, she was adamant about following the Bible strictly. Like, I was to the point where I could barely play sports. Barely, I did, but it was church first and then sports.
Wow.
So I missed a lot of events because of that. So it's
what was her role in the church since she was so dedicated? And I'm not going to mention your mom's name for privacy because she had absolutely nothing to do with what happened to you and your sisters. So, so if people are asking, we're going to leave her out of this because she did do the best that she could with you and your sisters. So, what was her role in the church?
She wanted to be a minister. But, that was her goal. But,
oh, wow.
Yeah, that was her goal. So she would do a lot of writing sermons, do like a little practicing or whatever. But, just a woman of God in the church, I suppose.
Okay. Did you and your sisters have roles? What was your role in the church?
No, this church was, I didn't like this church.
Why?
I don't like this church.
Oh, you just didn't like that church? Or you don't like church, period?
No, this was an apostolic church. So
very strict.
Very strict.
Okay.
And it was just, I felt like it was a lot of church.
Okay. It
was just too much. And the people weren't all that great. It was like a little hole in the wall church, but it was,
okay.
It was fun. But,
right.
And then, like I said, I really wanted to play sports anyway. And with church coming first in that type of church, it was just like, I really didn't want to do that.
Did you feel like you were too sheltered coming up with your mom?
No, it was just the dresses I didn't like.
Okay. So you guys were still able to have somewhat of a normal childhood?
Yeah, somewhat,
for 6 days a week?
Yeah, somewhat. Okay. As normal as it could be. We're going to church 5 days, 6 days a week sometimes whenever it was revival.
Oh, wow.
So,
and they praying all night?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, okay. So, and I said that in a good way, Jesus.
I know.
I'm like, Jesus.
It was always Jesus 24/7.
Wow.
She's very strict. And
so how were you, how was school for you?
I was an honor roll student.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So your mama, I could tell she probably didn't play all of that, or was that something you just kind of did on your own?
Something I did on my own, honestly. To be quite honest, it was just something I did on my own. My mama didn't play at all, period. It was like, she didn't play, not with school, she just didn't play at all.
Wow.
And, she, come from a mother who had 9 girls, and she was the last of 2.
She had 9?
My grandmother had 9 girls.
Damn.
And my mother was the last of 2
Okay.
You know, so her baby sister, she ended up taking care of her. So my mother wasn't really raised, you know, like, you know, she was beat all her life. So the cycle kind of like continued.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what was the relationship like between her and your father?
She was 15 and he was 19. From what I heard, he was just basically a player. And my mom was one of his girlfriends. She would basically sneak out to sneak and see him, leave from school to see him. I would say that. That's one of the rumors or whatever about their relationship.
Has she ever told y'all anything about him? Or, I mean, did you guys ever get to see your father
growing up
and your mother coexist together in the same house before we get into, because I don't want to just jump into, you know, why we're here, because it's hard. So
no, they never. No, my father was never around. He always had another girlfriend. My mom was like the side chick, I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah. So his girlfriend and my mom, they had children back to back. So honestly, me and his birthday is the same date, March 15th.
Oh, your father's a Pisces.
Yeah. And yeah, so me and him had the same birthday. And my sister's birthday is one day after mine. Okay. I believe.
Okay.
So I think.
And if you gotta look over and talk to your sister.
A week. So
wow.
Yeah.
So they were pregnant.
They were pregnant at the same time. Yeah.
Okay.
So my birthday's March 15th. Hers March 20th.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But he was with that other lady officially.
Okay. And your mom, she never really talked about the problems between you.
She did
and your father.
Yeah. I mean, well, growing up, she did say that, you know, I don't know. He
just beat her?
Yeah, they fought a lot.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they fought, and I heard that he pulled a gun out on her when she was pregnant with my brother because he thought that was his child, but it wasn't. He really wanted to be with my mom, and my mom was just, you know, doing her own thing at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
As she should have been.
Yeah.
So, so everything is going good. You have a normal childhood, and I'm sure you could not prepare for what you and your sisters were to go through when you transition. So what made, so you're with your mom, you know, when did you decide to say, you know what, I don't want to live with my mom anymore. I want to live with my dad?
No, so the conversations between my mom and dad had been going back and forth for months. Because he was complaining about child support. He was on child support and he really wanted to get off. And he was just like, you know, if you can't afford them, just let them stay with me. And my mom was just like, you're not even, my mom was living off of government assistance. Like she was really not financially stable at all for years. So he was just like, you know, threw that in her face, saying he could take care of us better than she could. And, you know, she was, you know, in the projects. So, and he was just like, you know, he was saying that they were taking more money out of his check than what we were receiving, you know, and it was because it was going through that government assistance, I suppose.
I mean, he was a truck driver. I don't understand how he was able to win that argument if he was on the road all the time. You understand? So even though he has the money, more money than what your mom had, if I were someone child support office, I would have said, you know, you're not around as much because if you're a truck driver, they need to be with their mom. And so I wish that it had gone that way, given the circumstances as to why we are here today. Now, you and your sister reached out through Instagram. I called her back, and we'll be speaking with Jasmine here in a little while. But your father, according to y'all for years.
Yeah, he did. It just happened out the blue, like I said. So we ended up moving to Texas, like me and my mom, we were having some issues anyway, in the house with basketball. I kept leaving. She didn't want me to leave and go play basketball. I would still go practice around the corner.
Okay.
So, we had issues, and we had just had a few. She had just beat my ass a few times before he, started calling. So, I wasn't rebellious, but I was rebellious because I wanted to play basketball. To me, I wasn't doing anything wrong. Either way it goes, the phone calls were being made, and like she was all too ready to be like, you know what, yeah, come get him anyway at this point. Because, he kept calling about the child support, and my mom was getting like dollars, pennies. She showed us little child support checks where she got like 87 cents. Because he was just saying, like, because my mom used to have us call him and ask him for money. And he was like, y'all getting child support. So he never really gave us anything up until 13, 13
So where did the
years.
money go?
That's what we wanted to know, honestly. That's what we was wanting to know. And I think it's because, that's why I said it had maybe government assistance.
Well, they do charge a percentage if they're going to process the checks, but to the point where, 87 cents?
Yeah. It was pennies. $26 one time. It was never no real money.
Okay.
Ever.
So you just, after the back and forth and you going, back and forth with your mom going back and forth with your dad, you decided along with your sister to go.
Yeah, because they convinced us that moving to, they called it Houston, but it's Spring, Texas.
Okay.
They convinced us that was going to be a better life for us.
Okay.
At that time. So when we were excited because we never lived with him ever, even, because my dad and my stepmom, they picked up and left, probably 10 years before they reached out to us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They were in Louisiana at one point in time, but then he upped and moved, never. And yeah, he didn't call and check up on us like that.
So you were excited, how old are you at the time?
That was in 2002, so I probably was 13.
Okay. So you want to play basketball. You want to be a teenager.
Yeah, I was already.
Mom, strict in the church, doesn't really believe in the things that y'all want to do. And I'm sure, giving back now, you probably, looking back, she probably, even though I'm sure, and we'll talk about that later, because I want to know, what she thinks about all this, or have you spoken to her, or will this be the first time that she's hearing about it? So you move with your father and his wife, and her name is, because I do not want to get her name wrong, Erica Cloman. Okay, and she was a nurse out of Spring, Texas as well. Okay, is she still a nurse?
She's from Monroe, Louisiana.
She's from Monroe as well? Is she still a nurse to this day?
She's still a nurse.
Okay, all right. And so how long were, Erica and your dad, Frankie, married at the time before you guys moved with them?
I don't know. They've been together my whole life. So at time, at that time, 13 years. So maybe married, I don't know, 8 or 7. I'm not really sure. It was
okay. How was your relationship with her? Were you excited to move with her as well too?
Yeah.
Okay.
She always treated us decently, so I never had a problem with her.
Okay.
And honestly, the first couple of days in the house, I was excited to be around her. She treated us very nice.
Okay.
And we were bonding. We were bonding more than what me and Frankie was, my father.
Okay. Was it because he was on the road all the time, or was
no, it was just because I just gravitated to her naturally. She was easy to talk to. I don't know. It was just
okay.
It was natural, and my father saw that, and he got very upset with her.
Why?
Because he told her that these are my kids. I haven't been around them. I want to spend time with them. You have your own kids.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you move in with your dad. How long until you're moved in, you're settled in, you're getting close with Erica, the wife, Gloman, until the first incident happened?
The very first
The
time?
very first.
Okay, so I guess it was going to be 2003.
So you were 13?
13.
Going 14?
Going on 14, yeah.
Okay.
So I guess he had been talking about, he told me about the Kappa once before.
The what?
The Kappa down in Houston and Galveston.
Okay.
So I used to hear about it all the time, and he showed me old videos of how I used to go down or whatever. And
Is it sort of like
it's like a beach party? Yeah,
like
it's like
Freaknik or something in Atlanta?
Yeah, in Galveston, but in Galveston, Texas. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I never heard of it before.
Right, I had never heard of it before either.
Even though I lived in Killeen, Texas for a little while, I really never got settled in Texas, so this is the first time that I'm ever hearing about this. So Kappa, so I'm sure all the Texas people watching now, they're gonna be like, all right, Kappa, all right.
Yeah. So it was the Kappa in Galveston. I had been hearing about it because this is my first couple months down there at this time, and I had made some friends at school, and they were talking about going down there, and I was just like, that sounds like something cool. Me being from Monroe, Louisiana, it's a small town. I ain't never been nowhere. It's my first time being out of Texas.
Yeah, that's why people gotta let their kids out. So because if not, but so you want to go to Kappa? Yeah,
so I did go. Actually, end up, and it was easy to go, like easier than what I thought. Even though he's just like, who you going with? And I told him who I was going with, which is my homegirl.
Okay.
Like he just like, my stepmom did not want me to go.
Okay.
She was adamant about not going. And I didn't care about if I went either way. Though I wasn't like invested in like that, but it was just something like, let me ask and see if I could go.
Okay.
And to my surprise, he said, yeah, like, all right, okay, well, fine, I'll go. I wasn't, so, we ended up going. I ended up getting ready and going. And then I told him I was going with my homegirl and her homegirl.
Okay.
So fast forward and get there, he was checking on me and calling. And it was some guys in the background because they picked up their boyfriends. I didn't know. So it was 5 of us, 2, them 2, their guys and me,
Okay.
And it was really not even a great trip for me. Honestly, my first experience and my last experience was not that great because they were on a mission to sell sandwiches. They were on a mission to make money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, what is this? So
they weren't even trying to have a good time.
They weren't even.
Did they give you a sandwich to sell as well?
They tried to. They tried to. And one of the boys was kind of like irritated because I didn't get out the car and start selling sandwiches.
Like, no.
Y'all, like, I was not, like, it was such a different experience.
At least they were on some, what we would say positive. But at the time,
I didn't know.
I wish my daughter friends would be out trying to sell sandwiches. Yes, I want those friends.
And then my homegirl, she know that she didn't tell me nothing about this. She was just like, leave her alone. We good. Because I guess it was something that she would get out and do too. But with me sitting in the car not doing nothing, she was able to sit in the car. And he's just like, but yeah, he was upset. He was upset. But I was like,
I thought we had another salesman on the team.
Yeah, but I was like, no, it was so weird. That was a weird time, but and I didn't know that was going to be going. None of that was going to be going down. Complete surprise. And my father was calling and checking, and he heard that, and he was like, I thought it was going to be women, girls or whatever. I was like, I did too, or whatever. And, and so he was just kind of like making me feel guilty about that because it was something that I didn't know.
Okay.
So, that happened, and he was just like, kind of like, telling me he lost some trust for me or whatever because of that. So, yeah. We had that conversation. I didn't get like in trouble, but it was like the trust was broken,
It was your first time?
Yeah. And being around guys.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And
so you think he was more, that was the first time, like, I'm sure at the time that it happened, you didn't take it as your father being jealous that there were guys there. You took it as he was just being overprotective and wanted to protect you.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure looking back on that now, you like, that was like the first red flag.
The first red flag was that he even allowed me to go.
Okay. So you come back home from the event. What happens? Because
I won't say I could have been. No. But anyway, so. Because the timeline be going.
It's okay.
But
we're talking about something that happened. Like we're talking about 17 years per se.
Yeah, seriously.
So yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah. Okay. So I come home And, you know, he questioned me about it, and he was just saying, you know, he was making me guilt tripping me about trust, and, you know, he didn't know it was going to be around guys, and I was just letting him know exactly what happened, you know, trying to get him to believe me. I was just like, I don't, you know, want to be dealing with no dudes, and it wasn't even that fun.
Okay.
But, you know, so moving on, he said, okay, right? So moving on months later, I get this, at this time, I probably was 14.
Okay.
Now, you know, I was probably 14.
Okay.
And the next thing I wanted to do was go to Six Flags. This is my next big thing I've ever done. And I wanted to go to Six Flags. And I asked him, because another friend from school, you know, every time I'm going to Six Flags, and she invited me. And I asked if I could go. And he said, well, you know, you went out to the Capper. I don't know if what you had going on that night. For all I know, you know, you could have been, you know, having sex with guys. And I'm just like, I'm a virgin still. Like, I wasn't, you know, I wasn't thinking about that. He knows how I was raised, church, apostolic, never been around no dudes, don't know nothing about no sex.
Okay.
At this time, like, not even, it's so far away from me, it's removed. So, I was trying to convince him that, like, you know, nothing happened. He's like, well, I don't know that. You know, you'll have to get checked. And then I was just like, I'll go to the doctor's office.
Yeah.
And you know, that's fine, because, you know, when you're telling the truth, you don't mind proving it.
Checked. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'll go to the doctor's office. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? And he made it seem like that was going to be, we're going to go to the doctor's office. He didn't correct me the first time I said that. So I remember going to school the next day and riding on the bus with my sister, who's the same age with me. Okay. 1 week. She's 1 week younger than me.
And this was your sister by the wife, Erica, that he's married to at the time. Okay.
So I remember being excited about both getting checked and going to Six Flags.
You was excited?
Not excited, but nervous. I guess nervous about one and excited about the other. So I
used to have to get them checks at the doctor, and I'd be like, "Damn, what if he tell my mama I ain't a virgin? What the hell? And I'm a virgin. I'm like, what the hell?" So that was I would get nervous. You know what I'm saying? So, but that was for me. So
yeah, I can understand that too.
Okay,
but no, it was like I was just like, you know, like, ooh, how is this going to be? Because we never got no checkups like that, like gynecology visits or anything like that.
Okay.
At that age. So I remember getting on the bus and I asked my sister, has she ever got checked? And she said, yeah. And I was like, oh, really? And then she was like, yeah. I was like, well, what was it like? And she was like, it's embarrassing.
Okay.
You know, and I just, you know, with me and her sitting on the bus, side by side, nobody was, you know, beside. I was just like, what do you mean it's embarrassing? Like, what happened? She was like, I said it's embarrassing. Like she was just like, I don't want to talk about it. And she never did. Like, whatever, you know, she never did. But later on that week, you know, I brought it up like it was time for me to go to Six Flags for that weekend. And later on that week, he was talking about remember, you got to get checked. And I was just like, you know, okay, when we're gonna make the doctor visit, you know? And he's just like, doctor visit? He's like, my wife's a nurse, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, Poppy can check you. And I was like, okay, cool, that's even better. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, not even better, but I was just like, okay, that's fine, I don't care, like, as long as, you know, and you know. So the time come for me to go to Six Flags, and I still hadn't got the checkup or whatever, and I'm just like, you know, well, you know, I wanted to go, try to see if I can still go. And he's like, well, my wife is not here for her to check you. And I was just like, well, you know, can I go to Six Flags or whatever? And you know what I'm saying? Because she wasn't here, probably not here. And he was like, I'm going to check you. I was just like, no, I'll just wait. I said, I'll just wait. Okay. I'll just wait for Poppy to get here. Because her nickname is Poppy. Okay. You know, that's her Erica Cloman's nickname. And I was like, I'll just wait for Poppy to get here. Okay. Because that was just like weird to me that he would want to do that. Yeah. And he was just like, what? Like, what do you mean you gonna wait? I was just like, because that's, I don't feel comfortable. He's like, girl, I'm your father, girl. I'm your father. Ain't nobody looking at you like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
I just want your sister say, at the same time.
Okay. I'm your father, girl. Ain't nobody looking at you like that. He just like, and he started getting a little irritated or whatever. And he's just like, pull your pants down. I'm just going to check you and then you can go.
Okay.
And I didn't know what to do. So I remember going to his master bedroom. Well, we were already in his master bedroom and I pulled my pants down. And, I was, on the side of his bed. I laid back so he could, he told me to lay back so he could check me. And he put one finger in. That was the first time anybody had done that ever.
Oh my God.
He put one finger inside of me. And then I jilted back. I was just like, no. He's just like, don't, be still. And then he's like, I got to check. I don't know how I'm supposed to know. Just one, that's not good enough. So he put two fingers in. You know what I'm saying? And I tried to be like, okay. And no. He laid back. So he's like, be still. And when he started putting his penis inside of me, I was trying to, because he pulled, lay back, be still. He put his penis inside of me. And I was trying to fight it, but he told me to lay back, be still. And I just did, because I didn't want to get hurt.
So you were under the impression that this is what checking was like?
I knew this was wrong. But I didn't know, I didn't know that he was going to do that. I knew that that's not what I thought checking was going to be. No. So afterwards, after he did what he did, took my virginity, I went to the bathroom.
Well, I don't think he took your virginity because that wasn't consensual.
After he me.
Because your virginity was left when you gave consent to someone that you fell in love with. So I don't want that to be in your mind. That was not your virginity. Okay, so
I can dig that.
That wasn't consensual.
So.
The reviews says it all. It's time to unlock the secret to freshness, happiness, and overall great feminine hygiene. It's something we don't like to talk about, but around 80% of women experience feminine odor a few times a week. Here's the solution. Belle's Secret created a formula that washes away odor-causing bacteria, heals your vulva, and balances your pH. Plus, it's all natural. Check out bellsecret.org to start your journey to better feminine hygiene and use the code TASHAK20 to save on your purchase now.
I was placed in this hospital room for high blood pressure complications. I did everything my doctors told me to do, including taking the prescribed medications, which I've been on for years, but I still ended up here. When I got out, I learned about my olive leaf, an all-natural extract that got my hypertension under control. Don't continue to drug yourself into becoming healthier. Go to myoliveleaf.biz to learn more.
What in the fuck is a carbonation? Who want to answer?
Before there was a white man here, we existed.
People calling y'all a cult. They're calling y'all brainwashed. They're calling y'all weak. They're calling you crazy, delusional. You're being held against your will. You're not eating. You're malnourished. Rumors of HIV and STDs. What in the fuck is a carbonation?
Caesar! Pass! Quick, sir!
Women are electrons, we're movements. We're going to move through what his mind tells us to do. We're going to do that, and we're going to collectively know, okay, check.
You can become the master of your reality.
And how do you get people to follow you immediately? Master teacher. Never heard a black guy refer to himself as master teacher. And I'm thinking to myself, what warrants you to carry that title?
He was ordering you to slap the girls.
Bitch gonna take your place. You looking weak.
I went up against Oya. I'm Oshun. I went up against Oya and I fought and I won that battle.
So you would date a transgender?
Yeah. As long as they look like the female, not the man, not the cheap ones. You know the cheap ones? You know the cheap ones.
What's shaking up in you?
I remember asking him afterwards, going to the bathroom, because I was just like, what the hell? Like, you know, and I remember seeing the blood, a little drop of blood. It wasn't a lot on the tissue, because he was like, go sit on the toilet and push.
Did he ejaculate inside of you?
Yes, he did. And he's like, go sit on the toilet and push. And blood, and I seen blood on the paper, the toilet paper. And I was just like, naively, I was just like, am I even still a virgin? And he was like, yeah, girl, of course you're still a virgin. Like, you know, like, don't be silly. You know, and then I was just so, you know, I remember being still in the bathroom in a doorway, and he was sitting on his bed, you know, like this. And he was just like, you know, if you tell anybody, ain't nobody gonna believe you. He said, because, you know, look at me. It don't look like it's something that I do. I'm handsome, and he have a beautiful wife. So he was just like, ain't nobody gonna, like, the way he was saying, he was just like all nonchalant,
like this, you definitely wasn't.
Like, ain't nobody gonna believe you if you tell it. And then he started telling me all of his secrets, you know, about the women in different families in his wife family that he had sex with. Well, not different, it wasn't multiple ones, but it was people that he shouldn't have had sex with, basically, and families. So grown women at the time. Now, he didn't confess about any children and anything like that, but it was just grown women that he shouldn't have had sex with. I can't really say their names. This is something that, like, you ain't the first one that I wasn't supposed to have sex with, basically, is what he was just letting me know. Like, you know, this is, and ain't nobody gonna believe you if you tell it. Then he started talking about my mom, like, and then he started bashing my mom about, like, how, you know, she, you know, wasn't raising me right and calling me out my name, just like he was just bringing up.
Sitting on the toilet?
No, at this time, he had told me to come sit by him. So, because I wasn't sitting on the toilet. I was standing in the doorway watching him.
Okay.
You know, because I was still, like, you know, in shock. But he was just like, come sit by him. And he just started telling me all his secrets. Just the sisters that he had sex with, that he wasn't supposed to. Not saying like it's multiple, and
so his wife's sisters.
And another sister on my mom's side that he wasn't supposed, like, so he was just naming people that he wasn't supposed to deal with. It was just a lot.
How did you process that after it happened, like when you left the room?
It was weird because when I left, it was time for me to go to Six Flags. You know what I mean? So I had to, I didn't have time to process it. I had to go have fun. You know what I mean? I remember hanging out with my classmates, and I really wasn't having that much fun, but I was just going along with the motions. I couldn't believe that just happened to me. I didn't know what to do.
Did you tell anybody? Like any of your friends? Nobody?
I didn't tell anybody. He told me there wasn't nobody gonna believe me anyway. That was like one of the first things he told me. You can't tell nobody this, and if you do, ain't nobody gonna believe you no way because of who he is. who his appearance, who his persona is. He's charming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's got charisma. You know, he knows how to put on a good front. The family man. So, and he knew that. He knew how to work the angles and make it seem like, you know, whatever, however he wanted. So and he told me at 14, I never questioned it. I just like, okay. And he, of course, he would not allow me to go home. Can't go home.
That was going to be my next question. Did you ask, could you go back?
Of course. Like, you know, his thing is you can't go home upset. So if something bad happened to you and you want to go home, like, you know, a couple hours later, the next day or 2 days later, no, you can't go. He would make sure you couldn't call, nothing. You can't go. He would make sure you were around him. I'm not saying nothing, like he stayed around, he monopolized our time.
Tell me about the next incident. How soon after that did he do it again?
Man. I really was thinking that, but I was thinking about that, honestly. How soon after that, one was the next incident. And I really, really, I don't know.
Was this something that he did to you regularly?
Regular. It was so regular that I can't even think about the next. I just remember the first incident and the moment. And I remember the first incident.
Okay.
And the incident when he asked me if he could have sex with my sister.
Which sister?
Jasmine. Yeah.
How old were you at the time when he asked you this?
I was 15. I had to be maybe 15. I was probably 14 still. I think I was 14 still.
Okay.
14. I was 14.
What was that conversation like?
It was terrible. I remember, I was 14. And he would always have me jack him off a lot of time. Like, oh, that was crazy. But I remember, I think he had me jack him off, and then afterwards he had said, he was like, this thing that me and you got going on, I'm thinking of like he was like real with a great big smile on his face. Like, you know, this thing that me and you got going on, thinking about bringing Lulu in. I lost my mind. Like, I just screamed, please no. Like, I just cried immediately, like, please, please, not my sister. You know, and I asked him, I was just like, you know, just take me instead, you know, just take me instead, just leave my sister alone, please, like, please, I begged him. With me crying and boo-hooing, he was just like, I was literally breaking down. Yeah. I was literally breaking down because my sister was 12. And so I was breaking down like, oh, like, please, 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 begging him.
I know. Jasmine is here, and here you go, Jasmine. Thank you. You're welcome. Here's more, just in case.
Oh, Lordy.
It's okay. No. You good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was breaking down on the floor crying, like, please, take me instead. Don't mess with my sister.
And what did he say?
He's like, all right. Dang, girl, you ain't got to do all that. Like, you know, like laughing it off, like, because I was crying. I was devastated that he could even think to do that. He's like, you don't got to act all like that. That ain't, you know, I'm okay. You right, I ain't going to mess with her. You know, so he reassured me. He's like, you know, I'll be okay. You know, I ain't gonna mess with her. I just leave her out of this. But I guess to my surprise, I guess with him even asking me, it had to be already going on, you know, with him even bringing it up.
So on the phone call, that we had, you had mentioned that he, I guess, did end up doing threesomes and foursomes and stuff with you and your sisters. Now, for here not to speak, but this is something that you witnessed.
What I witnessed was, so the thing is, he kept his outside kids, which was, me, my sister, and the other one, and he had a son too. He kept the outside kids separate from his wife. So we never really got to see them the way that we got to see each other. He kept them completely separate. But we knew it was going on because the same patterns, the same thing we was doing. And we kind of would talk amongst each other a little bit, trying to figure out, if it was happening to them, because we never seen it. But we knew it was because the door was always locked the same way he would have it with us. If one of us was in his master bedroom and Poppy was at work, the door was always going to be locked. And it was just all the same.
And his wife, Erica, who you refer to as Poppy, she never, ever saw anything?
Yeah, she did. Because it had, this happened as often as he wanted it, over hundreds of times. Seriously, like hundreds.
And so she would just go to work?
Yeah, so one school night in 2004, he had, got me out of my bed, and, he texted me and told me to come to the living room. Because he had me, that's what he would do. He would just text our phones. He didn't have to go. He's just like, come to the living room. And if you play sleep, he will come get you anyway. So anyway, in the living room, by the TV, away, because there's the way it was set up, you have to, if you can duck off in the corner and, hear somebody coming around the corner if you need to. I don't know, he just knew where to duck off to. But it was in the living room by the TV in the front. And he was having sex with me. And Erica, she came around the corner and she caught him.
On top of you?
Whenever he heard her footsteps, he had hurried up and jumped up. But he had his boxers on and his penis was out. And she said, "Are you fucking her?" And he said, "Poppy, don't you ever disrespect me again like that in your life." And it was just quiet. She didn't ask me anything. I was there. I ended up standing up.
Were you naked?
No, I was naked. I had my pants. He just pulled my shorts to the side. So I still had my shorts on. And he had his shirt and his boxers on, but his penis was out. And she asked him, was he having sex with me? Because clearly what she caught. And he just told her, don't disrespect them. And they went in the back room and they fought. They did fight.
When you say fight,
like physical. Like they were, not really loud, but she was just like, I saw what I saw, and, there was a lot of bumping in the room. Next day, I see them, both of them have scratches, and he tells me, she's not going to ask you about nothing. She's not going to ask you about last night, she's not going to ask you nothing.
And she never did?
And she never, ever did. Ever did. She never asked me nothing. She just turned a blind eye. And that was in 2004.
Did you ever try to talk to her about it?
I would try to see if I can maybe sense moments where I could talk to her about it. Okay. But it never seemed like she was going to give opportunity to. It was so weird. She just you just got to do better. If she would ask you what was wrong and you try to make her dig a little bit for it, maybe she wouldn't. She would just be like, I don't know, you just need to, try to do better. She didn't really give no good advice.
She would tell you to try to do better after you try to talk to her about your daddy, who was her husband at the time, was sleeping with you in her house. Now about the phone call, because you had mentioned like your father would make your sisters take turns giving him head.
So I don't know, 2004, that's whenever my other sister came into the house. And me and Lula, me and my sister, we never witnessed each other.
Okay.
We never knew that it was going on until the third girl came into the house.
Okay, so it was two of y'all at the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so I was still under the impression that I was the only one that he was just, raping, basically. And when the third girl came into the house, for some reason, he was able to make her comfortable enough to be like, hey, this is what's going on. Come to Dad's room. And he had her come in there. Him and her were already, they must have had a talk.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? All I know is just all three of us ended up being in his master bedroom. And he was just like, everybody is a part of it. This is, everybody is already a part of it. And, of course, we all in shock, like,
So two of y'all are there?
Three at this time. My sister, sorry.
It's okay. Oh, we'll bleep her name out.
She came to the house, and I guess he immediately started having sex with her too. Like, it was weird. It was so weird because he was so comfortable with having sex with all of us immediately. Less than 6 months, I would say, of us even being in the house. It was weird. Like, it's like he already knew that he was going to do it. It was on his mind, and he was going to do it. But so when he came immediately, she was just a little bit more.
How old was she?
He was, if I was 15 or 14, she's 1 year under me. So if I was 15, she was 14.
Okay.
Because this went on for years.
So you guys are in the room, and what did he make y'all do?
So first he tried to make all three of us have sex with each other. The sisters. Me and my biological sister and his outside, his daughter. And we were just like, no, like we was crying, saying no. Everybody, nobody wanted to do that. Like, it was bad enough we already had to, fuck you. Like that was nasty. Like, no. So he was just like, all right. Fine. Y'all just take turns, ride my dick. Yeah, so, and that's basically what we did. Just got it over with. Everybody rode.
Nobody used. He had no protection on. He
No
made y'all
protection.
jump on. Did y'all talk about it after?
We never talked about it with each other ever. Nothing to say.
How long did it go on?
Until I was 17. Until I was 17. I was 17, he kicked me out. He kicked me out 3 weeks before I turned 18 and 3 months before I was going to graduate high school. I had ended up, meeting my little first love or whatever in high school. They were Katrina victims.
Okay.
And so this was 2005. And he, me and him started dating. And one time he snuck over and he left his hat. And they found his hat in my room, my closet or whatever. And they asked me about it. He asked me about the hat and asked me, was I having sex with Roy? You know, did I have sex with Roy in his house? And I said yes. You know, didn't care at that time because I was over it. We had many fights. He had blacked my eye. Throughout the years, I ran away, came back. It's like, so it was just, I was at 17, I was pretty much. And
your mother still had no clue what was going on?
She had a clue.
How? When did you?
She just had a clue because she was just like, she asked and we said, and we denied it because it was something strange going on. She was just like, has he touched me out? And we told her no. So. So he ended up, you know, kicking me out once I admitted that I had sex with Roy. Asked me, was I having sex with him? Right in front of my stepmom, I said, yeah. He told me to get out, like pack my things, put it all in trash bags and put me on a Greyhound.
Like he was your boyfriend, kicking you out.
Kicking me out, got jealous and kicked me out. I really, before that, I asked him like, you know, hey, you know, when he said, you know, you need to leave my house, after I said, can I just, you know, I got 3 months before I graduate high school. Can I just stay until I graduate? He said, no, absolutely not. You need to leave. So, you know, he packed my things, got on the Greyhound back to Louisiana, Monroe, Louisiana.
With your mom? Mm-hmm. And did you finally talk to your mom about what happened? I finally talked to my mom about what happened, and we started to get the ball rolling out there in Louisiana. Since it happened whenever I was, you know, a minor, it's adolescence case. So we ended up getting the ball rolling out there. But of course, since it happened in Spring, Texas, everything has to be done out there. So they transferred the case, and we started working on it. We started working on it in 2006. But whenever they went to the house to interview them and try to see, you know, if the abuse was going on with the rest of the siblings, everybody, you know, denied it. Wow. Of course, you know, everybody denied it. And so, because of that, it was hard.
So it was hard for me to go on. And then, you know, with my sister telling me that she didn't want to be involved. She didn't really want no parts in it. You know, it was hard for me to use her name and just tell them that it was only me. Because I was just trying to go at it saying that he molested me. You know, he me. I was just trying to go by myself.
Did you ever get pregnant by him?
No, but one of my sisters allegedly did. And she may have gotten an abortion. But that's probably her story to tell.
Yeah. So Frankie James Cloman, 53 years old. What does he do now for a living? He's still a truck driver?
Mm-hmm.
And I know you guys have had several conversations. We're going to talk to Jasmine here in a minute about you guys just really saying all the things to him that you wish you would have said when you were younger. And he's still denying it. I'll never touch my kids or granddaughters. I'd rather everyone to be happy. Like, he's really nonchalant about it. He's letting you and your sister go through in the text thread, and he's just kind of like laughing you off.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's how he always have responded. Like, oh well, haha.
Y'all can't stop. I see. I hope it's fun even after it's over. Why did you us? Why did you have sex with your daughters? Everything that's happening. I mean, he just would say random messages after you guys would like confront him. You never planned on getting therapy. You was just running game on your kids, is what you said. Hindsight is 20/20 indeed. He comes back and says, I'm only work and come home and I don't bother anyone, so I can't keep that on me. And you said, okay. And he says, at least you're famous now. What does that mean?
Because, so I went to social media with it. Basically,
yeah, I saw a lot of the Facebook messages. And
basically Facebook. And I put a picture up of him, and I kind of blasted on Facebook, like, you know, this is who he is. And I had the message shared, and I tell him he did have sex with all 6 of his daughters. And he's around his granddaughters, and he does have a girl. Well, he had a girlfriend, and she has, teenage daughters. So it's pretty important that this all be stopped, because he can't.
So you're coming forward today because you failed at getting him prosecuted.
Yeah, I did. I failed at getting him prosecuted in 2006. What happened was, I believe the heat was, on him because he's had rumors about him being a predator since the 80s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, since the 80s. Back in Louisiana, that's one of the reasons why he left Louisiana, because of the rumors. He just couldn't stop, molesting little girls, basically. But, Jesus, what was I saying? The rumors he had.
Back in the 80s in Louisiana. He left Louisiana.
So he already had some, allegations against him. So with me telling everybody my story, it just made sense that, okay, he been doing this. It's allegations that he even did, his own family members. So that's yeah, he's been doing this his whole life, and his mother just covers up for him.
Is she still living?
Yeah, she's still living. She denied anytime anybody brings up anything against him, she denies it. It's the women, they really cover up for these predators because they don't want the shame. They're made to feel like, my shame is your shame, even though it's not.
I was quiet. You should be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, it takes courage to sit here today, and I'm so beyond just inspired by your story. I mean, I'm inspired by, because you were able to accomplish so much despite what you've gone through.
Mm-hmm.
You're a travel nurse, you're a mother, and for you to sit here today, I'm gonna be honest with you, I couldn't say no. I couldn't. And so I believe this is going to start exactly what you wanted to end in 2006. And so I'm just so, I just, I have a dad, and I couldn't imagine having to, let alone I was molested by my uncle, but your father?
Yeah. Yeah, and we watched each other have sex with him. He was just nonstop pornos in his room while his wife was gone. It's just it was nonstop. And then he would beat us too. If we didn't have sex, when we did not want to have sex with him, we would get beat. He would find a reason to beat us. He had a paddle. That he would use. He had made from wood. And he would use too.
I remember you saying that, it was when you guys got in trouble.
Yeah, when we got in trouble, it was either, it was really either get beat with the paddle, because he gonna swing it like a Barry Bond. He coming all the way back. And you have to pull your pants down, your panties too. You know what I mean? So he was brutal with the back.
So it was either, you told me it was either he beat y'all or he beat y'all.
Mm-hmm. So you had to pick
and
which
if
one.
he beat y'all, he really beat y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all would have sex next time.
Yeah, so you have sex next time. Or even after one lick, you'd be like, okay. Just get it over with.
How has this affected your future relationships?
Oh, yeah, it has affected me tremendously. I want to say, one of the first times that I noticed that it affected me was when I went to the Navy. One of my guy friends, it was Valentine's Day. I ended up getting a little bit drunk on that vodka or whatever, and we were being intimate, and all of a sudden I had a flashback of my father, and that was the first time that had ever happened. And I felt like I was losing my mind. I just my brain just exploded. Like I couldn't believe, I felt like it was happening all over again. I started crying, boo-hooing on the floor. I couldn't, like, you know, I couldn't even breathe because, you know, in the moment, it was just like I felt like I was, you know, having sex with my father. You know, that was the first time that had ever happened to me. And it was bad. Like, you know, my guy friend at the time was just comforting me, you know.
Did you tell him what it was?
I did tell him what it was.
How did he respond?
It was something that actually happened to him too by his aunt. So he was molested by his aunt. So we kind of like bonded through that. We kind of knew. So he kind of like, you know, we're still good friends to this day because of that, that trauma bond, I guess you have. But
have you gone through therapy for this?
I have.
Okay.
I have. And they always encourage you to seek justice.
Okay.
You know, but it was always hard whenever everybody's not ready. And me trying to respect my sister's, you know, wishes of her always saying, no, she just leave her. She's like, tell your story, but leave me out of it because it's humiliating. You know, he always made us feel like we were going to be shamed and shunned.
Like it was your fault.
Like, yeah, everybody's going to, you know, laugh at you and make fun of you. You know, you're not, and basically, and when we was at the house, he was just like, you're not going to have nothing. You know, you're going to lose everything. But even moving forward, it's basically like you're going to be embarrassed by this.
Have you seen him since you last saw him in 2006?
Mm-hmm.
How was that for you?
It was a little bit, you know, a little awkward, but I guess like I know how to coexist with any person. You know, because of this situation, I believe. Like, I know how to play it cool in any situation.
Did he act like everything was normal?
Act like everything was normal. We have the same birthday. Mm-hmm. So when he was turning 30, whenever he was turning 50, I was turning 30. And he reached out to my sister and was just like, hey, I really want to celebrate, you know, I really want to get all the gang back together, all his kids. So, you know, because once I left the house in 2006, he would not allow them to have a relationship with me. None of his children by his wife were allowed to talk to us anymore. We couldn't communicate. So I was kind of like, okay, I wouldn't mind trying to build a relationship. I was turning 30. I said, I wouldn't mind trying to build a relationship with these girls. Because they were decent. They were cool. They were my sisters. So I wouldn't mind having a relationship. It's not the first time that I tried to reach out to have a relationship. I tried in 2009. When I got home from the Navy, I was 21. And I wanted to reach out to my sisters and see if they just wanted to hang out for my 21st birthday or whatever. And I didn't want him involved. I just wanted to hang out with my sisters. I felt like we were grown adults and maybe that was something that we could do. And to my surprise, I was trying to, reach out to them, talk to them. And he was like, I guess one of them told him, I was just like, I don't really want, Frankie to be there. I just want us to be there and just have fun. And one of them told him that, I said I didn't want him to be there. And he shut the whole thing down.
And they're grown. And
they were 21 years old at the time, 2009.
Were they still living with him?
I believe so. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. They were still living with him.
And so you've since confronted your dad.
Mm-hmm.
How was, besides these text messages that are completely...
Oh, in 2006, it was like a whole thing. Like he really... but since the 2018, I have confronted my dad and,
You got a baby now. Has your baby seen it?
Never. No, absolutely not. Okay. She didn't even know he existed. I kept on saying, I don't have a dad.
Is your baby gonna watch this one day? And like I said, I think this is incredibly powerful and courageous of you. What do you want her to take away from this?
Speak up, baby girl. Every time. And don't believe these men or women, because, women are predators too. Mm-hmm. Don't like it, like they'll tell you, ain't nobody gonna believe you and, you know, you're going to get in trouble and it's going to be this big whole huge mess if you say something. It's going to be your fault. When they just projecting, it's their fault. They're going to get in trouble. It has nothing to do. I always tell us, you can come to me. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to.
Will you allow her to, how is the relationship between your child's father and you?
Oh, it's toxic.
Okay. So you won't, I take it you'll probably keep her away.
From my
yeah.
No, I don't see no, because
that's big of you.
He's a good guy. And I'm not gonna say, you know, I'm not gonna put anything past him, but I trust him enough because he know better too. Not saying that you know, but he's not gonna do that. I don't think.
I was so before therapy gone because I didn't start doing therapy until I was like 27. I was already few years married, right? And so when I had my daughter, you know, all that old stuff comes up.
It did.
You know, and I remember like questioning, like, is he gonna touch her?
Yeah, I was one.
And that's so crazy. Like,
I was so scared. I was now full transparency. The first couple of years, I was terrified. I was so terrified, like, you know, just with the thought of it possibly happening. You know, and then at that time, I was still having flashbacks, unfortunately. So it was always fresh in my mind. But, you know, with therapy, you know, I understood that they are two different guys. Yeah. This is two different people. You know, I can't take that out on him, and I try my best not to.
Yeah. I just, trust me, I know when I had that thought, I said, okay, it's time for me to do it.
It's scary.
This is not him. This is not my husband. This is my stuff. And, you know, it's not his fault. So I totally understand, like, you know. And I was ashamed to even admit that. I told him that years later after I had done some years in therapy about it. He was like, so nonchalant about it because he is like, that's not me. Like, he didn't even have to say it. He was just like, okay. Like, you know, so he was very graceful. So, but I'm just, like I said, I'm so proud of you. And I know this is hard. And a lot of people are going to see this, and you are doing the right thing.
I know.
And your baby sister is here. We're going to talk to her in a second. The one that I can't even call him your father. Like, the one that your predator asked you for permission for. And she experienced the same thing. Mm-hmm. And so, thank you. Give me a hug. Come here. I can't. Your baby is going to be so proud of you.
And that's where I believe that she is too. I believe she is too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How do you feel?
I feel okay. I feel good. Like, you know, I feel like it's a lot that I still haven't got out, but fortunately, we're going to say that for the courts. Me even just getting the ball rolling and talking to you, it's gonna help build that confidence I need for whenever I get on the stands and just tell it all. Because, you know,
I mean, he could still legally and criminally be charged.
And
so
he should
it's not over. So
and
you can bring things up years ago. It just depends on the testimony of you and your sisters and all others that he's possibly touched. And, you know.
It's people ready to speak for it. I have a lot of support.
Yeah. I
have a lot of support from people on his family side and on his wife's family side that know that that he's sick and he's been a predator.
And hopefully, Erica, you know, if you watching this, Cloman, hopefully you'll do the right thing and help these girls to.
I wish
to
you
deal
would,
with him.
but I don't believe she's gonna speak up.
You never know.
But I hope so.
When you start, when stuff like this goes out, people start looking at you. You start wanting to cooperate. Because otherwise, you were an enabler. You were no different than him. Mm-hmm. And so that's what the impression is going to be if she doesn't want to step up and help you all. And so it's choice of hers. You know. Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. You want to use the bathroom before you get started?
The reviews says it all. It's time to unlock the secret to freshness, happiness, and overall great feminine hygiene. It's something we don't like to talk about, but around 80% of women experience feminine odor a few times a week. Here's the solution. Belle's Secret created a formula that washes away odor-causing bacteria, heals your vulva, and balances your pH. Plus, it's all natural. Check out bellsecret.org to start your journey to better feminine hygiene and use the code TASHAK20 to save on your purchase now.
I was placed in this hospital room for high blood pressure complications. I did everything my doctors told me to do, including taking the prescribed medications, which I've been on for years, but I still ended up here. When I got out, I learned about my olive leaf, an all-natural extract that got my hypertension under control. Don't continue to drug yourself into becoming healthier. Go to myoliveleaf.biz to learn more.
What in the fuck is a carbonation? Who want to answer?
Before there was a white man here, we existed.
People calling y'all a cult. They're calling y'all brainwashed. They're calling y'all weak. They're calling you crazy, delusional. You're being held against your will. You're not eating. You're malnourished. Rumors of HIV and STDs. What in the fuck is a carbonation?
Caesar has returned.
Women are electrons, we're movement. We're going to move through what his mind tells us to do. We're going to do that, and we're going to collectively know, like, okay, check.
You can become the master of your reality.
And how do you get people to follow you immediately? Master teacher. Never heard a black guy refer to himself as master teacher. And I'm thinking to myself, what warrants you to carry that title?
He was ordering you to slap the girls.
Bitch gonna take your place. You looking weak.
I went up against Oya. I'm Oshun. I went up against Oya, and I fought, and I won that battle.
So you would date a transgender?
Yeah, as long as they look like the female, not the man, not the cheap ones. You know the cheap ones. You know the cheap ones.
What's shaking up in you? You are Jasmine Mayfield.
Yes.
Okay. 31 years old.
Yes.
All right. You work for the federal government.
Yes.
Well, don't want to disclose what you do. I know how the feds are. Trust me. I have a file there myself. You don't have any children.
No.
Okay. And you were crying when your sister was just here telling her story. Now, I'm not going to ask why were you crying, but what triggered you?
He asked me the same thing.
If he could have Brittany.
But he already had her.
Wow. So, of course, I'm not going to make you get into the background, of course, because you and your sister, same mother,
right, same
father, both moved at the same time. Now, real quick, was your reasoning the same? Did you want to move with your dad because you were, just tired of being in a strict environment?
It's okay. I think I was probably just following my sister, and also I just wanted to be in a new environment because my mom, she was depressed.
Your mom was depressed?
Yeah.
How did you know?
Well, I remember getting up, getting ready for school, and she'll be on the couch sleep. And when I come back home from school, she's in that same spot.
Wow.
Sleep.
Did she ever talk to you about her depression?
No.
To this day, have she spoken to you about her depression?
No.
Okay. Are you guys pretty close?
We okay.
I forgot to ask your sister Brittany that earlier, how
the
relationship was.
We okay. We're not close though, but we okay.
Brittany, are you and your mother pretty close today? No. You feel like she didn't protect you guys?
Well, we do take care. We
take care of
We take care of mom, yeah. We help out, bills, all that.
depressed.
Yes.
She's still depressed. Okay.
Yes.
So you guys went through a lot. I'm pretty sure, like, she know what happened with you as well. If I was your mom, I would be depressed too.
Yeah.
Chills just really engulfed my body and I'm sure, like, you know, because she did try to help your sister. Did she try to seek justice for you as well too, or did she just kind of give up, get frustrated with your sister?
Yeah, she didn't even ask me if I wanted to press charges.
Okay. She had already been down that road.
Yeah.
I feel, and I'm glad that you guys really do take care of her because, and I know you're not a mom, but you know, your sister is, but like, you know, it's hard to say what you would do in that situation, but you know, putting myself in her shoes, I would probably, you know, feel the same, you know, helpless, hopeless, you know, and blaming yourself and, you know, and I'm sure it's other things that factor into that too, but like that, I totally understand, and it's well within her right to be depressed. Now, however, before everything happened, I'm sure that depression it's just, you know, just piled on, and it's just worse now, you know? So, after you moved before you moved with your father, were you a pretty good student as well?
I was decent. I'm not. It's crazy because I have a master's, but I never cared for school.
Really?
I didn't care for school whatsoever.
I tell people, they laugh all the time. I was in ninth grade 3 years, and I'm proud of it. You know what I'm saying? Go to school, kids, go to school. But for me, it was just like, so I understand you on that. So don't. But you got a master's degree.
Yeah. So
that's big business, you know? Despite like y'all going through what y'all went through, the fact that y'all are so successful now, being a nurse that takes a degree and you having a master's degree working for the feds and stuff, like that's big business. And that is really inspiring. You know, so you're welcome. So, when was your first time?
Okay. So I started with the first time he touched me.
Okay.
So, me and another sister, we were just, you know, playing and running around the house, and he was running around the house with me. And I remember he grabbed my vagina. And I was probably like 14 at the time. And so I stopped playing, and I just went in the room and I sat down. And he came in and he was like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "You grabbed my vagina," or whatever. He was like, "I didn't try to. It slipped." And then he said his hand slipped or whatever. And he was like, he got mad because I got upset. He was like, the next time you get upset, you need to tell me. Don't you just go in the room, get all mad, blah, 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 or whatever. So I was like, okay, well, maybe he didn't try to or whatever. And so I remember this is the first time he ever like me. It was March 25th, 2004. I was getting ready for school. And out of nowhere, he was like, "If you go to school, I'm not taking you to the dentist." And I was like, "Okay, why you say that?" And I was like, "Okay, I just stay home."
Okay.
So when everybody left, he called me in the room. He just
in
like
his master bedroom.
Yes, he called me in his room. Okay. And he just sounded like he was angry. He was like, "Put your pants down." He was gonna whoop me, and I was just like, "What I do?" He said he was gonna whoop me for my attitude or whatever. And so I put my pants down, my penis and everything. And he acted like he was gonna whoop me, but he turned me over. And then he put his pants down and he put his penis inside of me. And I tried to push him off, but at the same time I was scared because he had that board right next to him. So I was pushing him, but not as hard because I was still scared, like, dang, I don't want to get hit. And so now I just relaxed. And he did what he did. He ejaculated on my leg. He wiped it off. He told me, "Get in the tub." So I took a bath. And I remember I was in there crying. And he told me to shut up. Told me to shut up. And I was just like, oh my God. So after that, we went to the dentist.
He didn't talk to you?
Nope.
He didn't have the same talk with you that
nope.
he had with
we
your
went
sister?
to the dentist like nothing happened. Like nothing happened. And
how did you react?
I was just shocked. I was just sitting in the tub, washing myself. I was just really shocked, crying. And, like, I just can't believe this dude. You know, my dad me.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I just honestly couldn't believe. Like I was thinking like, oh my God, this man just raped me. I just really couldn't believe it, honestly. Like I just couldn't believe that just happened to me.
Did you ever try to tell anybody? Or?
No.
No.
And I struggle with that still to this day. Like why I didn't open my mouth. So
it's
yeah.
like I wish I could like rewind back time
Yes.
and be like, if you would have told the school, it would have shut that shit down.
Yep.
They would have removed y'all immediately, just off the allegation.
Yep.
So, how soon after that first time did he rape you again? Did he? First of all, did he? Was this your first time ever experiencing
Ever having sex? Ever.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay. And how soon after the first time did he?
Honestly, probably months later, I think. But like Brittany said, like it happened so often, like you can't even remember the next time because it happened so much in the house.
Okay.
And so after that, it's just like sad to say, like a normal thing.
Okay. Now, what was your relationship like with Poppy, who's Erica, your stepmother, his wife at the time?
At first, you know, it was cool. I like Brittany said, like she was cool. I liked her at first or whatever. And then, you know, Poppy, he was jealous. I mean, not Poppy, Frankie, he was, you know, jealous because we was closer to Poppy or whatever. We wasn't, honestly, I had a problem calling him dad. Like, I was going to get it because I haven't been saying dad for like 12 years.
Okay.
So, I would just walk up to him and start talking. He caught on to that, whatever. He was like, you ain't got to call me dad, this, that, and that. I was like, what to call him now? I remember I had called him Mr. Cloman one time.
Okay.
And he fussed at me. And so I didn't want to get a whooping, so I just started calling him that. But yeah, that was hard for me.
Besides, you know, because I know your sister, she really kind of went into detail throughout the years, your teenage years, because this stopped, of course, after you moved out of the house. Okay. Did you ever experience like any encounters with your sisters and him, or was it just always you and him?
It was so. Yeah, one time he did call me, Brittany, and another sister to the room or whatever, and he wanted us to have sex with each other, and we cried. We told him no, and he laughed and said he was just playing.
Okay.
And so instead, we had sex with him one by one, and we would have to sit there until he was done, and we left the room like that happened.
But so you never talked to any of your friends? Or?
I ended up telling my friend probably like after I graduated that it happened to me.
Did she have a clue, or did
she didn't know? She didn't know. I ended up telling her. Like I didn't tell many people about this because it's so embarrassing.
I don't think it's embarrassing. I think it's just traumatizing.
Yeah,
you're right. It's trauma.
Yeah, and
you don't know how to process that type of trauma. So,
yeah.
Because you did nothing wrong, and so when you process it all, then you understand that it's not embarrassment. So,
it was times where I would have to lie and say my cycle was on, so he wouldn't touch me. I won't lie. My cycle on. Then I'll lie and say it's still on. So yeah,
Did you ever get pregnant by your father?
Yes. She don't even know about this.
I never knew. Here, get you. Here, I'm sorry. Wow. Come, it's okay. It's okay.
She never knew. And I asked myself, was I going to say something? And when you asked my sister that, I was like, my God.
How old were you?
16. 16. This is my first time ever saying something about it.
Wow.
They should have records of that.
Oh, shit.
When you found out you were pregnant, what?
So, when I found out I was pregnant, I had just, I think I had just left their house and I had decided to move with my mom.
Okay.
Brittany, I had decided to move with my mom or whatever. And as soon as I got there, I was throwing up like crazy or whatever. And my mama, she took me to the hospital or whatever. And, my mom was telling the doctor that it was stress or whatever. No, not my mom. My mom was telling the doctor that I just moved from Houston or whatever. And the doctor thought it was just stress because, keep in mind, my cycle was on, but it was like went off the next day or whatever. So after me and my mom left the hospital, I was still throwing up. So me and Brittany, we got a pregnancy test and it came back positive. And Brittany had called Frank and told him that I was pregnant. And he was like, who the baby by? Whatever. And I don't remember what she said, but he got on that road and he came and got me.
Do you remember this?
When we got a pregnancy test, but when I came back, I lied and I said it was a virus. I didn't confirm that I was pregnant.
You remember the phone call?
Vaguely remember the phone call because, like she said, even if it was a scare, she never confirmed it. So I
Okay.
Yep.
So what did you, when you found out and you knew you were for sure, like,
so
what did you end up doing?
I got an abortion. So
you scheduled it yourself?
No, he told his wife that I was pregnant, but he told her that I was pregnant by some guy. I guess he told him I was pregnant by some dude I was liking on the same time. But me and him, we had nothing going on. But I remember telling him, I remember telling my father to just tell Poppy that you got me pregnant. Because I didn't want Poppy to think that I was just messing around. I'd rather for her to find out your husband got me pregnant. So, but he was just like, he said no. He laughed and he said no. So Poppy, she scheduled the appointment for me to get an abortion. I was 8 weeks pregnant.
Did your mom know?
No, this is my first time saying anything about that. Anything. Yep.
Was that the last time you were with your father, or did he continue after?
No, some crazy reason I ain't no back there at the house.
Even after your mom knew he was touching you?
No, she didn't. My mama didn't find out about me until I was like 19.
Oh, so she just thought it was just...
Yes.
But the fact that she even let you go back knowing that happened to your sister.
Did she come out yet? Did you? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't want to make an excuse. She probably did. I already came out now. Yep.
Have you and your mom ever talked about the abuse? Never?
Mm-mm. I think it's tough. It's too hard for her to hear it. And it's too hard for me to talk about it, honestly.
Okay. Did you ever start to rebel against your dad?
You know what? No. I was always the kid that stayed in the house. Because with him, if you wanted to go anywhere, you gotta have sex with him. You gotta make him happy before you leave. So I wasn't trying to do that. So
you just stayed in the house?
I just stayed in the house.
How was high school for you though, going through this? Like,
you know what?
Did it affect
high school was, I actually love going to my school.
Okay.
It was my peace.
Okay. Like you were able to get away from the
able to get away.
home.
Yes. Yes.
Have you now? I have seen the text messages because you pretty much sent me everything that you guys posted on social media, of course, and text messages that you had. And so, was this the first time you really ever confronted him about the abuse all the years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so, then he just kind of acts like nothing happened. How does that make you feel?
Angry. He need to go to jail.
Why did you want to speak out?
Because I was just, tired of him walking around untouched. He just living his life like nothing happened. He not remorseful or nothing. He need to be in jail.
Now, your sister briefly talked about your other sisters, and I don't really want to say their names, even though she did refer to them as first name. No one will know unless it's immediate family, okay? And I don't see them pointing that out, so, but how, have you had any conversations with your other sisters about the abuse? No? Do they know that you're here today, or?
Nope.
What do you want to say to them?
Speak up. Don't be afraid. Get justice for yourself. Keep your kids away from him.
Have you gone through, before I ask that, so your other sisters, they allow their kids to be around him?
Yes.
Girls?
Yes.
Wow. Wow. I can't even wrap my head around that. I can't. I can't. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely insane.
I have no words for it. Mm-hmm.
Have you gone through any type of therapy?
I started therapy in December of last year.
Okay. How's it going?
It's okay. I need to.
I see it's going great because you're here.
Right. I need to reschedule.
Yeah.
It's okay. But when I told my therapist, what happened, she said, you need to call the police right now.
Yeah. You want children?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't, because of guys like Frankie.
Okay.
This world already fucked up. So I don't know. This world is crazy. So to bring any children here is scary.
Okay.
So
has this affected your relationships?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like supposed to tell me what to do. So
okay.
Yeah.
You think you have like an anger issue, or you just?
I want to say
you still got to keep to yourself.
Yeah. I don't fool nobody. I don't fool nobody, but
okay. Shaq, I want to get a shot with you and your sister and the shot together, so I'm gonna have him reset up. Okay, so because she needs you here, I can tell. She is. Could we set up a shot with just them two here and me right here real quick, because we're going to close it up? What in the fuck is a carbonation? Who want to answer?
Before there was a white man here, we existed.
People calling y'all a cult. They're calling y'all brainwashed. They're calling y'all weak. They're calling you crazy, delusional. You're being held against your will. You're not eating. You're malnourished. Rumors of HIV and STDs. What in the fuck is a carbonation?
Caesar has returned.
Women are electrons, we're movement. We're going to move through the Baptiste mind tells us to do. We're going to do that, and we're going to collectively know, like, okay, check.
You can become the master of your reality.
And how do you get people to follow you immediately? Master teacher. Never heard a black guy refer to himself as master teacher. And I'm thinking to myself, what warrants you to carry that title?
He was ordering you to slap the girls.
Bitch gonna take your place. You looking weak.
I went up against Oya. I'm Oshun. I went up against Oya, and I fought, and I won that battle.
So you would date a transgender?
Yeah. As long as they look like the female, not the man, not the cheap ones. You know the cheap ones? You know the cheap ones.
What's shaking up in you?
It'll be okay. You did it though. You got it over with. You know, because I've been vocal for a while, and with her just now coming out about it, you know, she's just not coming out. Like, it's her first time ever speaking publicly. Nobody knew. I had to, you know, kind of shield her, I guess, a little bit because she's so easily embarrassed.
What's the age difference?
2 years.
Just 2 years.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you guys had to
look out for each other, pretty much.
Just the thought of your father making y'all both take turns. That shit bothers me. I'm not even like just hearing this, you know. And so we are going to reach out to him. Okay. And this will and just in case the viewers know, I gave my mic to you, so my voice may be a little low, so we're just gonna pick up camera sound. But I just want to thank both of y'all for having the courage to do this, and we will reach out to Jane. Frankie. Sorry.
Frankie Jane.
Frankie Jane. I don't even like saying his name.
I know, right? How you think we feel? It's just
I'm like James for whatever.
Right.
It's just blank right now, and I just thank you guys. Now, if y'all can just muscle up some type of courage, and just look at the camera and just say what's on your heart to end this interview. I don't want to say bye. I don't want to say anything because this is just the beginning.
Yeah, it sure is. Because we got to fight. We got like a nice little battle ahead to, you know, get the ball rolling on justice. We really want our sisters to join us in, you know, speaking out. Because we didn't deserve that. Like he's been a predator long before we even were thought of. You know what I mean? So it's not our fault at all. And the fact that we stayed silent and, you know, he groomed us and made us, you know, to where it was a routine. So I want them to know it's not your fault.
Right.
Like, you know, and unfortunately they really have nobody to run to, because even if they was to tell their mom, she wasn't strong enough to run and leave back then. So they really got worse off than us as far as mentally, you know. Because imagine telling your mom, my dad's doing this, and your mom does nothing. Tell him to stop or ask him about it, and he's such a smooth talker that he's just like, man, that's crazy. No, of course that's not going on. And then you have to tell your daughter, well, she said it, you know? So then you had a brick wall where everybody just say, okay, well, move on, you know, just move on. Because that's what they told me to do in 2006 when I actually had the case, you know, open. Frankie had all of my sisters, especially her, calling my phone nonstop telling me, drop the case, we don't want to do this. And my sister that's 1 week younger than me, she said, she heard, I was so shocked. She was just like, you know, you're out the house now, it's over. It's over for you. Just move on with your life. You know, you're out the house. Just keep living. They didn't want, you know, of course he was coercing them You know, if anything happened to me, it's gonna happen to y'all, and we're gonna lose everything in the house and all that other stuff. Like it's not worth it. It's not worth your peace. Like that house and the things that he was offering, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth whatever it is. Cause I don't know what he could be saying. But the mothers, like, y'all can't keep on protecting predators just because you love these people. They are users. They the weakest men in the world, the worst men in the world, because they literally conniving, snaking just to get some cat. Can't even be a real man and try to get it. You want to get it from your daughters and young girls that's weaker than you that can't speak up. Like, he just, you know. But the women really need to speak up and be a voice for younger women. I hate the fact that I dropped the case because I'm thinking that I'm protecting my sister by not saying anything because she was begging me not to. But that was fun. That was the worst thing I could have ever done. You know, was drop the case and not just go hard knowing what I know. Like, you know, I should have just said, I don't care that you don't want me to say anything. I'm selling it all. That's what I wish I would have did. So that's why I'm like, you know, time is still ticking. I still got time to make things right, and I'm trying to. He's wrong. He's dead wrong. And like, for the years that it went on and the way that he did it, you know, abusive and psychologically, it's traumatizing. He needs to pay. Anybody who's been through this, you know, the women that's protecting them, they dead wrong. They wrong. And people need to speak out about it. Like, I wish the women would not protect the men just because they feel ashamed. That's the biggest problem, because it happens in so many families. And then the children will tell it, and it be the wives and the women, the girlfriends, they the ones are the voices and saying, hey, can you drop the charges? Hey, we don't want you to do this. We don't want, you know, don't hurt my family.
What do you want to say, Jasmine?
That was good. She said, that was good what you just said.
The women need to speak up.
Just speak up. Yeah, speak up.
Send these men to jail.
Yes.
Y'all are so, so beautiful.
Thank you.
Like, y'all energy when y'all walked in, y'all don't look like what you look like.
Amen.
God
is good. Absolutely.
Is good.
Absolutely. I take God with me everywhere, every step of the way, everywhere I went. I had my Bible. That's one thing I can never take from my mama. You know, she put the Lord in my life, and he has stuck with me. He ain't never going nowhere. So, you know, that's why I'm good to this day. So my spirit is good, you know, not broken. Like, I'm rich in spirit, and I know that, you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, part 2, I'm going to deal with Frankie. So, you're going to be live and incoming.
Okay.
On this channel.
Okay.
All right, we're done.
How you going to get him?
Got his phone number. Don't worry.
Okay, dear.
You approach perverts with pervert activity.
Right.
So, you know. All right. So, used to dealing with perverted old men my whole life. So, you know, he won't even know what's coming. So.
All right, I got faith in you, girl.
I got you. And I'm sure he's probably going to deny it, but he's still going to be live and in color on this channel. So he's going to want to say something because this is going to go out to the world now. So